My initial reaction when I first arrived at the ranch was, I mean, it was kind of like awe, just seeing the situation, the number of dogs that were here, and you know, on the surface, they looked happy and healthy. They were running, barking, playing. But, you know, once I got in with the dogs and, you know, really started seeing the emotional state that some of them were in, seeing the physical, just the, you know, the poop, some fighting between the dogs, you know, it was kind of overwhelming.
Last May in a town called Gabbs, Nevada, there was a woman that had 150 dogs, and she died pretty unexpectedly of a heart attack. And she wanted all the dogs to be euthanized in the event of her death because she thought that no one else could take care of them. But when her family stepped in, they decided that they wanted to place the dogs with adoption organizations and try to ensure that they all survived. There were 30 dogs left over out of the 150 that were considered non-adoptable because they had never had any kind of human contact on this ranch where the woman was keeping them. And the United Animal Nations came in, took all those dogs to a temporary shelter in Reno where they underwent rehabilitation and then got placed into adoption programs.
So when we went out in January, there were 56 dogs left, of which 34 came here to be socialized and brought up to I called this the halfway house because their socialization was brought up and so they could be transferred to rescue groups and shelters.
Out of those 30, there were 10 that were still considered not adoptable after a month or so of rehab. And then I was called to take the 4 worst of those 10. And then I got another call this morning asking if I could take a 5th. So we've had a real short notice, but we decided to go ahead and get everything done that we needed to get done to get down there and pick up these dogs and get them back to the sanctuary.
It just seemed like such an overwhelming situation, that many dogs. I didn't know what condition at that point they were living in, how they were being taken care of. You know, there were pictures in the email of the dogs and with their little names, and it was so, you know, so you kind of felt like you knew them right from the get-go, and they weren't just a group of dogs. There was Ruby Delilah, there was Tina Louise, there was Coney, you know. So I was worried about the dogs, but also anxious to see what the situation looked like.
Gabbs, Nevada is pretty far out, and if you were looking at the state of Nevada and took a pinprick and put it right in the middle of the state, that's probably where Gabbs is. It's 150 miles southeast of Reno, and it was very remote and very desolate. And as we were driving up to the ranch and we saw the dogs greeting us, it was really an eerie feeling. But it really felt great to be able to pull every one of those dogs off of the ranch and get them to the next chapter in their life.
Olympic Animal Sanctuary is a permanent placement for non-adoptable animals and a humane alternative to euthanasia, and we also help to take some of the strain off of the different adoption organizations out there by removing animals that don't have much chance of adoption. The dogs will come back to the sanctuary where they'll be integrated into a pack environment. They'll get a lot of human contact and interaction, and on their own terms and on their own schedule, they'll have the chance to come around and start behaving a little bit more like normal dogs, but they will not be adopted out to the public.
With the Gabbs dogs, we tried to be a little bit more careful, and it was kind of a situation kind of took care of itself, because people who want just a dog that you can take and throw in the yard and it's going to be happy and, you know, run in the house and be trained and everything, the Gabbs dogs weren't going to do that. It took special people that really wanted to work with the dogs.
Well, this is Camp Reno, as we've dubbed it. United Animal Nations Emergency Animal Rescue Service has put together this temporary emergency shelter for the dogs from Gabbs. In total, we have served 34 dogs here that have come and gone, and most of which are at rescues and animal shelters now. And we're really excited to be letting the last of the dogs go in the next couple of days. and let 5 of the least social dogs go to Olympic Animal Sanctuary.
You've probably seen on TV and read in books about dominance training, and the people are telling you that you need to dominate your dog and you need to always be the alpha. That's not the approach that I take, particularly with really shy dogs. I go in and adopt a submissive posture and try and start off our relationship as non-threateningly as possible. So what I was doing with those guys is just doing a real brief introduction so that they know who I am. They're starting to get the idea that I don't pose a threat, and we'll continue that when we're back at the sanctuary. But for today, I just wanted to do about 5 minutes with each one, get them a little familiar with my scent, familiar with my movements, and to end each experience on a positive note so that they realize that, well, I've seen this guy before, I didn't get hurt last time, but this time I'll probably be okay too. And that's how lasting rehabilitation takes place. Slowly over time with lots of small repetitions, not in 5 minutes with a few jerks of a choke collar. The community we're serving is not just our local community, we're actually serving the entire country. And there are animals in need all over the place without enough organizations to care for them, particularly non-adoptable dogs. And the only option is usually euthanasia. For us, it doesn't really make any difference if the dog's local or if the dog's 3,000 miles away. If the dog is going to die because it has no other option and we can provide a home, then we're going to take the dogs on a first-come, first-served basis. We have plans to expand our facility to house reptiles, birds, and some small exotic mammals, but for us to reach our full potential, we need funding to purchase a larger property, to build a larger facility. We're full right now in terms of dogs, and if we're going to rescue any more dogs, we're going to need to move to a new place.